How does Huntress help in this? Well, one of the ways we help is through our managed endpoint detection and response. That's a standard part of Xpert Technologies packages where we're looking for those malicious behaviors, persistent footholds, seeing open ports. We're able to give actionable incidents to Chris's team. We can isolate, which means lock down a machine or a whole organization in the middle of the night if necessary, to protect a environment from a threat actor and keep downtime to a minimum. And so because we are looking at those processes, our SOC team is investigating that. We own the technology. It also allows us to be nimble when we see something to add that new into our protection for endpoints. And unfortunately, though, endpoints have actually gotten really easy to harden. Firewalls, EDR, next generation AV. There's all sorts of things that have been put in place to make it harder for a threat actor to get onto. Even Windows, going to Windows 11, one of the reasons they're more secure than Windows 10. So the, computer manufacturers, et cetera, the operating system make things more locked down, securing. Humans are our largest attack surface of any organization, because they are out there dealing with the internet. And, that attack perimeter, people get tired from seeing alerts. They are, their identity can get stolen. They get into unauthorized access that can lead to data loss. And this is why Huntress came up with our managed ITDR, Identity Threat Detection and Response, which will stop those attacks in the Microsoft 365 environment. We actually have just recently launched the ability to protect this in Google as well. It's very new to us, so that's still kind of very new, but we are, combating unwanted access where a threat actor logs in from a location that shouldn't be logged in from, or they are sending what we call rogue apps. These are applications they trick users to install to give them full mailbox rights, or maybe they create rules to hide emails. And why this is important is we're combating this tradecraft so that you as the small business, won't have to deal with credential token theft, and you won't have to deal with this business email compromise at the end of the day. We're trying to keep it so that you are not a victim from that. Now, some of you maybe are going, well, I use MFA, multi-factor authentication. This is where you log into a website and maybe it sends you a text message, or you have an app on your phone that you have to enter in a code or approve this. And you're like, I'm protected in my 365. Well, unfortunately, adversary in the middle, the threat actors have come up with tools. Evil Jinx is one of these, where they are literally a destroyer of MFA. I'm going to play through kind of a little bit of how this works through. So how this works, think of our shady threat actor on the overside. They create a site, an Evil Jinx site, some sort of evilsite.com that looks like a login to Microsoft. And what they will do is they will send a phishing email to a user. And there's other ways they can get you to interact with this, but they send something. This was an example of a phishing email that actually went out to all the employees at Huntress. It was part of our managed phishing training that we did, but hey, we got some stock options. We had lots of people click on that link, and it will then, in this scenario, it's going to say, all right, hey, I need you to sign in to Microsoft to actually validate who you are. We want to make sure you're secure. Well, what happens, you're presented with this site, and you enter it into the Evil Jinx website. Put in your username, password. Evil Jinx, it sends it on to the Microsoft site that's legit. Hey, here's a username password for a user. Microsoft gets it and says, excuse me, what's the MFA? I need that. Evil Jinx gets it and says back to the user, can you please provide your MFA code? User's like, oh yeah, that's totally legit. Let me enter in, my 6-digit code, enters it in. Evil Jinx grabs it, sends it over to Microsoft. Microsoft validates it, says, hey, that was good. Well, now you have a session token that has been done. And what a session token is a piece of code that Evil Jinx sends it on to the user so they can sign in, but the threat actor also gets that session token. And they can actually, literally, all they have to do is open up a new browser page, go to a Microsoft login page, copy that token, and there's a thing called a cookie editor. They literally copy paste that cookie editor, that token into the cookie editor, and it logs them directly into the Microsoft account, and they're in as the user. Um, so that's kind of the threats that Huntress is combating with our ITDR. We're able to detect those session token thefts and things like that, but you need to be aware they are out there doing this. And really, what it comes down to is social engineering. The threat actors are trying to use OSINT, open source intelligence, to understand what somebody might be susceptible to. So they're going to use those LinkedIn pages. They might go over to your Facebook page. Look at that. I had a company I was protecting. They fixed trucks, and the owner of that was posting on social media that she was going on vacation. And what the threat actor did at that time was they used that open source intelligence, and they actually impersonated her email account, um, and sent an email to her HR person asking for those W-2s and said, hey, I want to review them as I'm on my trip to Mexico. And so, and the HR person didn't read the exact email it came from, thought it was from the owner, sent those out. And so they are going to do things like open source to understand this. This is an example where they saw a medical viewing site software that had a severe vulnerability. It was published out, needed to be patched, important. Well, threat actors went out and did actually what we call search engine optimization poisoning. So just like Chris, I don't know, do you guys do any Google AdWords? And does that anything you use? Yep. So threat actors can also buy Google AdWords and promote their sites. Now, this threat actor went out and found the microdicom and created a site that looked exactly like microdicom and promoted that as the first search result when you looked for this software update that had been publicized, that CISA, who is a part of the U.S. government that talks about these severe vulnerabilities that are important to patch. They did something called typo squatting, so it's hard to see, but like they got .info versus .com. They switched one out for an I, but it looked very similar. They actually made their website look almost identical. The one thing, the legitimate site has this big gray box on it. That's actually because the legitimate microdicom site does serve ads. You've probably been on these sites, Chris, where it flashes, hey, download this software. It will help you with PDFs or something like that gets served at you. That's what this microdicom did to help fund their website. I think the threat actor probably was like, that seems way too shady. I'm not going to include that on my malicious site. But they had a package that was the exact same viewer software, other than it included a tunnel back to the threat actor if you installed it. Huntress did see this. We reported it to the MSP because the end user was trying to do the right thing, update their software. This is the way they try and attack us, though. Other ways that they try and go through and attack us is using what I'll call fake captchas. Chris, I'm sure you have identified yourself on websites regularly with a captcha, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not a robot. Yep.
I'm not a robot. I need to identify all of the bikes in the picture, right? Well, one of the things they have started to do, threat actors will take over websites. Once again, maybe it's a website that isn't patched, and they will do search engine targeting to help you get there, or just hope you land on it. And oh, hey, we saw this where there was I think it was the Port of Savannah in Georgia, had their website hacked, and a user landed on trying to get like shipping schedules, and got this, hey, complete these verification steps. So danger, Will Robinson, do not verify. If you see something that says hold the Windows R key, that does, Chris, you said you're not, technical, so I'm going to tell you what that does. That opens up a command prompt, which is a way to just send commands directly to your operating system. And if you do Control V, you Control V all the time, I'm sure. If you use a Windows machine, Chris, right? That's your case command. And so,
hey, I know the hotkeys at least, Ethan.
Okay, exactly. So, what they have done is when you land on that website, they will actually inject code into your clipboard. So when you do the Control V, and you will have opened up that run command, you will paste it into there and hit enter. You now execute that code. It's going to go try and do some PowerShell or something, call out to the threat actor, install persistence. These are the things they are trying to do. And this is why you need a security awareness training program. You need your users to be part of the solution, not the problem. Humans, we can't patch them. It would be great. When I was a tech, I was like always, it is the end user who is my problem. And yes, but it's not because people are trying to be the problem. I actually think that, the end users, the threat actors are actually not targeting, quote unquote, the dumbest people in the room. What they are actually trying to do is they're trying to target some of the smartest people in the room. And this is because, threat actors are trying to exploit human vulnerabilities. Now, Chris, are you busy? Are you juggling a lot in your day? Or are you just sitting around with nothing to do?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Super busy. Try to get through. If my my inbox is full, I'm trying to get through emails quickly.
Exactly. And so the threat actors know actually that the people who have the most valuable information, think of, C-level employees, think of, your accounting, finance people, all of these people with what I'll call access to the keys of the kingdom, the crown jewels, if you will. Those people are usually really busy, really distracted, quote unquote, switch tasking, right? I'm doing email for, 5 minutes really quick, and I'm switching over to a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, and hold on, let me pivot right back over to email because it just came in. I was looking for this thing, and I got a meeting. I got two minutes between meetings. I'll respond to emails really quickly. They know how quickly we are going. And so if they can just get by you with a sense of urgency, this is important. All of those things, that is what they are trying to do because they know these people are going fast. And so security awareness training programs are really supposed to be at, your users. And you want something that they are going to remember. Huntress's security awareness training, we have world-class animators on our team who are creating new content about every 4 to 6 weeks. We have a dedicated threat researcher who works with that team and looks at the trends that are going on in the world and creates new episodes to train people around what the latest threats are that are doing, whether that maybe are new ways like that fake Captcha training that I mentioned earlier, whether that is people, trying to make you aware of, weak passwords, etc. We use a story-based learning module that's like 10 minutes long. And the really important thing is that it should be frequent, like about once a month, we believe, as well as story-based. And in particular, story-based is really important because humans are wired for story. We we will remember stories. And so I will tell you the first time I took the Huntress Security Awareness training, I tried to run it on the other monitor, didn't really pay attention to it. We actually put in test questions to make sure you're paying attention to the story, because that's how you are going to remember that our 5-year-old hacker Dee Dee is out there and her crews. It's going to be by that memorable story that we tie the lessons to. The other thing I will say is that cybersecurity awareness needs to be a cultural phenomenon in your office. Chris, do you have any experience, or have you had any clients who've been really successful in getting like their whole office to think about cybersecurity in a positive way?
Yeah, we've seen a couple of our clients tie the training to like bonuses or things like that. Just whatever they can do to kind of get to that like 80% completion.
Yep, exactly. And it really is getting to that is the key thing. And I don't love the kind of shame of, oh, you failed the phishing test, because that will make people not report to expert technologies that, hey, we saw something suspicious. But you really want to make it so that people go, it's okay if I quote unquote fail something, but like I want to make sure I am aware and sharing information, because it's better to report than not to. It's kind of the say something, see something, say something, not say something, see something. But right, the you go to the airport, you see the things, see something, say something. That is what you want your team, your employees to be thinking about doing there. And I think security awareness training is one of the lowest cost add-ons that are so effective if you can get an effective one.